right? They're real.
Who's gonna stop me? Just look at every story we've read.
Need a freelancer? Go to Fiverr.com and find one in seconds. Or don't go to Fiverr and waste your time searching for freelancers instead of finally taking that trip abroad.
Constantinople?
Should be near Prussia. Find your freelancer quickly and easily at Fiverr.com.
I already like how this starting out. Yeah. If I grab a pen, the shit I write down to make you run and tell a friend that this nigga tryna sin, but I'm really tryna win. Been getting out the mud ever since the fucking beginning. Yeah, and now we be winning. And shit be spinning like the dreads on my head, man. And I dressed in some fresh, crushed, nice linen. And I'm dressed in white linen, and I'm dressed in some fresh, crushed white linen on the beach with some plenty fine women. Cause I'm dressed in some nice, crushed white linen, chilling on the beach with a few fine women. Yeah, and not to mention that I'm a penman, yeah, and I got, and not to mention, yeah, and I'm a penman. You got a 9 to 5 waiting on your pension. I'm in the streets on 95 with the, yeah, and I'm trying to get that clip in. Cock it back, keep one in that chamber, cause these niggas out here won't let you put your anger in the, and like, run on, cause this shit becomes a banger, and I like this beat though. I can do something in this shit. When I grabbed a pen, when I grab a pen, shit, I start to write, make me wanna go and tell a friend that this nigga back again. That this nigga's back again, capping on your Mac again. Back again, they cap it up, yeah. Make him do a back spin, slap him in the abdomen and make him do a back spin, slap him in the, make him do a back spin, put him in the abdomen and make him do a back spin. Capping on the Mac again, say that nigga's back again, capping on the Mac again, punch him on your abdomen, make you do a back spin. Open up the back door, so that's it. Niggas trying to eat my cheese, requests. Come on, man. Y'all know I'm taking a friend request. What it do, yo? So I hit the studio as soon as I wake up. Most of the time, if I have time. It'd be like the first thing I do in the morning, man. What up, bro? It's sideways, but this is what I'm working on right now.
I finally figured out what car to get. Now, where to find the best deal? What's that?
Car Gurus, $2 below.
So I'm working on adding letters to the books. Started working on this for a couple of years. Very says coming out next year. Then after I finish this one, this album. Yeah, don't forget to order your bird holders. My Etsy link is in my bio. You can definitely pick up a brand new bird holder. I'll ship that right to you. What up, guys? I'm actually live on YouTube, so if y'all wanna check out the stream for a little while, or you know, while you fix breakfast or get ready for work or on your ride to work or whatever, you can definitely go to my YouTube channel. And actually, I just got in here, so I'll be here for a minute, trying to add some letters to these books. It's a slow going process, but that's the part we're working on this morning. I hope y'all have a positive and productive day. Catch y'all next time. I like that shit, but there it is. Juice, what it do, bro? Oh, just trying to get my mind right. Trying to get this time right. Stay out of that limelight, cause too much fame will get get into your brain, that shit make you go insane, and you really start to change, and you flip up on your people acting different. That's so simple, man. I'm trying to do it better, man. People gotta eat too. Yes, that's just. Then I bring it back and I single track and I stack them. Oh, corner freestyles in the morning, motherfucker. Yeah, cause I got a dream, and I know what that means. And I got a steam, and that's for myself. Nobody else, and I need a shit. So precious and so delicate and so messy. So, come on, man, give me some bars. Oh, bro, I'm already fried. It's like 7:30. 7:30. This nigga got corny freestyles. Hey. Corny bars, bro. Corny bars. I like this beat though, man. This beat so melodic, yo. Yeah. Cause me and Juice Danger in the studio. That's two niggas. That's Deuce Anger. So listen up, you better bring it through, cause we bang it on the sideline and we slide mines with a 9. That shit get poppin', go straight. I lost it. Ooh. Corny bars. That's two niggas, so it's Deuce Danger. But see, like, it tastes better and better the smaller it get. Like my guy, he don't put no names on his shit, yo. He just give me what he got. But this like some. I'm fried. I need to water it out. The fucking iWalk, the peg leg, so I can walk, yo. Got a peg leg. That shit didn't even cost that much either, and it worked like a charm too for a little while because it's kind of heavy. And so after about 20-30 minutes, that shit gets uncomfortable. But shit, I still got a peg leg like a pirate, yo. Fucking peg leg. Probably like a bitch, bro. Oh, damn. Nope. Lord, shit. Oh well. What else to do? I'm injured, man. I'm injured. Bam, 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 bam. I got one leg, bro. I'm out of work for a little while and everything, so. I just wake up, come in the studio, and get fried. It's like I have fucking surgery, bro. I ain't never had surgery ever before, yo. That shit was crazy. Bam, 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 bam. Yo, dude be putting out some good ass beats lately, yo. With that little, I keep forgetting his name, but he had that black man. What is it? Black man. These all on YouTube, yo. I got some original beats that my homeboy gave me. Like, you know how he gave them to me though. They're like some older, okay beats. It ain't like none of his hot, like his really, really hot shit. You know he ain't just gonna give me that shit for free. But he gave me like some okay beats, yo. He gave me like 5 beats, just like let me have them shits. Cause when I was rapping back in the day, he was the he was one of 2 people that I was buying like original beats from. And one dude, like we were all starting out just trying to get our names out there. None of us wasn't nobody, but we were still trying to do shit. So he was um he was charging me like $25 for a beat, yo. So I bought a couple. I brought 2 sets from uh yeah. So the first time I just gave him $100, and he gave me 4 beats. And the second time I gave him $100, and he gave me 4 beats. And my other homeboy, I think he was charging like $30 for a beat. But I bought 1 beat from him, and then he gave me 1 beat. And shit, I ain't used a lot of them shits. I don't even know where them fucking shits are at. But um, but all these beats I listen to now, these shits are just YouTube beats. I don't know who the hell beats these are. gotta get to lettering these books. See how many of these letters we can paint out real quick. Oh, ooh, shit. Let's listen to. I don't know, for some reason when I'm painting, I like to listen to people talk. I like listening to people talk while I paint. 12 most mysterious archaeological finds science still can't explain. Elon Musk's message on artificial superintelligence. One day ago, but Elon Musk has been talking about his fears of superintelligence for 10 years now. So it's like, we already know he's one of the brightest people of this era, and so to not listen to this dude when he says, yo, this is what I feel may happen if we ever create an artificial super intelligence. And he's said this over and over and over, and it's like people won't listen to him. But this thing right here says one day ago, but I'm pretty sure it's probably some old clips of him and some shit that he's already said previously. You know what I was going to listen to? I don't know, man. They use all these. They use entertainers. What other ethnic group do they get entertainers to talk to? Do you see like some? I don't know, man. When they try to get Asian people to vote, do they like put some Asian film star out there and like tell them to vote, or it's just the weirdest thing, yo. And they get these black elites to try to pander. I don't know, they do so much different shit to try to entice black people to give up their votes. Like that one ad, get your booty to the pole, get your booty to the pole, and it's a bunch of black strippers and they're all in a strip club, and then it's like, oh, go vote. It's like, what the fuck is that? And you a basketball player is supposed to tell me like what political party? I don't get it, bro. Honestly, once he did that school, LeBron James like funded a school or opened a school or something. I knew something was fishy with that dude right then. I knew something was fishy right then, yo. And then if you research this roundtable group called the Boule. I'm pretty sure that he is a member of this elite group, the Boule, and that's the only reason he was allowed to open up this school, and the reason that they're now using him to try to manipulate and persuade people to vote a certain way. Like these characters are weird, yo, and they have handlers. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think like most entertainers or athletes honestly believe half of this shit they say publicly, and they do have handlers and managers and people who tell them like, if you're gonna say this, this is the way you should say it and shit like that. So um, I don't vote, haven't voted in over 10 years, and so I wasn't even aware. Yo, what up, Boozy? I wasn't even aware that they were using LeBron James to make blacks vote. I wasn't even aware of that. But you know, if he has some kind of advertisements or commercials with him saying some rehearsed scripted line, or you know, if he's going on his own personal media platforms and saying whatever, like, if I was a voting person, that shit wouldn't sway me. I'm not listening to nobody. I'm listening to the people who are in power, who are trying to get the seat. Those are the people I'm listening to. What's your policy? What's your policy? I don't give a fuck what my sister thinks, what my girlfriend thinks, what my boss thinks. I don't give a fuck what LeBron James thinks or whoever. Like, you know, everybody got opinions, and we may agree on a lot of different things, but the candidates themselves, those are the people I'm listening to. What are you actually fucking saying? You know, what are you saying? What are your goals, and what is your agenda? Now, you can say, oh, well, you should vote for this person because this reason and this reason. Well, move out the way. Let me hear this person, the actual person, give me the reasons. I don't need an interpreter. We all speak English, motherfucker. Oh, the ankle is healing pretty good. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow at 9:30. I have to be there at 9:15. I'm not sure what they're gonna do. I remember cast back in the day. I've never injured myself like this before, but I remember like friends and family having casts, and the whole thing was plaster and hard, and it was like, I don't know. But like, this is the second cast that I've had, and it's like this new style of, they already have these pre-cut strips of material with quick hardening plaster of Paris, and they have all this other type soft cotton type stuff, and they just get water and wet this shit and put it on you, and that shit fucking hardens like fast as fuck. So the first cast they put on before I had surgery, they just cut that shit off real easy. Had surgery, I woke up with a brand new fucking cast on. This is almost 2 weeks old now, so I'm almost thinking that maybe they want to look at the incision and I'm guessing I have stitches, and so maybe they're gonna cut this cast off. Like, let me wash my foot, clean my foot up a little bit, and look at whatever work they did, and maybe put a new cast on. I'm not even sure what, but they just said, hey, it's time for your first follow-up visit. So yeah, I mean, entertainers. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of white actors who are, you know, those rock the vote commercials and all of that stuff, man. But it just seems different when they pull like really um, high level entertainers for black people and try to, like, you know, get that Democratic vote. But like I was showing people earlier, yo, I got this Joan though. So I was looking for something, man. I was at first, because it's like holding the crutches. Yo, crutches are stupid, bro. Just stupid. And then now you can't use your fucking hands because you gotta goddamn do this dumbass shit. I'm like, don't they got something for one fucking leg, yo? And so they got these little scooters. It's like a knee scooter. And I'm like, that shit ain't practical in a fucking house. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't really go around. That's like if you're going to be out somewhere, if you want to just get out the house and go for a walk, or do some shit like that for several minutes outside, and you can put one knee on this like little push scooter. I'm like, I need something better than that, so I just looked up peg legs. And yo, I found a peg leg, yo. On Amazon, these shits brand new. These shits are like a $1.50, and I was like, fuck that. So I started going on like sell sites, and then found some guy kind of far, but not too far away. It was like an hour and a half drive, honestly. But I figured out, gas and all of that, and getting this, like the price he sold it to me for, it's still cheaper than I would have paid for it getting it brand new. And then if I ordered it, it would have took a couple of days to get to me, and it was a nice little drive. And so me and my girlfriend just rolled out and picked this joint up. I always roll over this fucking cord, yo. I'm gonna snap this cord sooner or later. But yeah, now I got a peg leg where I can fucking walk, yo. Oh yeah, I had to have surgery, bro. Like, I tore my Achilles tendon, bro. Like, tore it. That shit was gone, son. Snapped that bitch. So they had to go in there and, like, tie that shit back together, put a knot and some sutures on that shit so I can move my motherfucking foot, yo. Like, yo, I tore my shit like a football player. Yeah, so I had to have fucking like surgery, bro. And so now I gotta go back, and like I said, I guess this will be my first follow up. Oh hell. Fuck the damn paint up. But this joint works pretty good though. Except your foot is always in the goddamn way. So I'm like a fucking pirate, yo. This shit is easy, son. And now you can carry shit, walk around with shit in your hands, still keep your balance, and you can go upstairs hella fucking easier. Like, only thing is you gotta alright, maybe. Then it got like a little hand rest, so if you get tired you can kind of lean for a minute. So it's not a bad product. It's a cool ass design. This shit fucking works. Only thing, like, I don't know, I feel like if I would have designed it, I would have put this at more of an angle, and so your foot you'll have more clearance space if your foot was down a little bit more. But I get it though, But that shit is at a strong ass 90-degree angle. But yeah, I'm a fucking pirate, son. Like that, almost like that shit, like I only got one fucking leg, yo. But like I say, shit works. And I got two pair of crutches and a wheelchair. So I'm not gonna just be sitting around, so fuck all that shit.
The advancements in AI are about to point astonishing. But I think it reaches a threshold where it's the smartest, most inventive human, then really could be a matter of days before it's smarter than some of humanity.
What happens when machines surpass humans in general intelligence? If machine brains surpassed human brains in general intelligence, then this new superintelligence would have undergone an event called the intelligence explosion. likely to occur in the 21st century. It is unknown what or who this machine network would become. The issue of superintelligence remains peripheral to mainstream AI research and is mostly discussed by small groups of academics.
I don't think we can solve the problem just technologically. You imagine that we've done our job perfectly and we've created the most safe, beneficial AI possible, but we've let the political system become totalitarian and evil. It's not going to work out well because we're talking about human AI. Human AI is by definition at human levels and therefore is human. So the issue of how do we make humans ethical is the same issue as how we make AIs that are human level ethical.
What is an actual good future? What does that actually look like? All of us already are cyborgs. So you have a machine extension of yourself in the form of your phone and your computer and all your applications. You are already superhuman. By far, you have more power, more capability than the President of the United States had 30 years ago. If you have an internet link, you have an oracle of wisdom, you can communicate to millions of people, communicate to the rest of the earth instantly. And these are magical powers that didn't exist not that long ago. So everyone is already superhuman. And the limitation is one of bandwidth. We're bandwidth constrained, particularly on output. Our input is much better, but our output is extremely slow. You know, if you want to be generous, you could say maybe it's a few hundred bits per second or a kilobit or something like that output. Compare that to a computer which can communicate at the terabit level. Very big orders of magnitude differences. We're headed towards either superintelligence or civilization ending. Intelligence will keep advancing. The other thing that we're advancing is something that puts civilization into stasis. What is the world we in where there is supercivilization?
This has purposed a number of directions in which AI could develop, such as the development of stronger and smarter artificial servants, the development of a network of increasingly intelligent systems, the development of AIs with human-like personalities, or the development of AIs with moral reasoning capabilities that can make decisions autonomously and care about humanity. The term AI is used to mean anything from incremental improvements to the software of today's computers to the development of human-like thinking machines. However, this type of AI is an extreme case. It is also called ASI, strong or general AI, in contrast with today's narrow and weak AI. It presents the creation of a machine with intellectual abilities that match or exceed those of humans across the board. By definition, an ASI can perform better than us in any conceivable task, including intellectual skills. It could engage in scientific research, teach itself new abilities, improve its own code, create unlimited copies of itself, choose better ways of deploying its computational resources. And it could even transform the environment on Earth or colonize other planets. The evolution of this new type of sentience could follow many paths. It could present a potential existential risk to humanity, depending on the nature and capabilities of the system. However, the hypothesis of a powerful machine taking over the world is not the only outcome.
But there are really two sides to that. One is getting rid of a lot of the negatives, like the compassionate abuses, pure diseases, and all other kinds of horrible miseries that exist on the planet today. So that is a large chunk of the potential. But then beyond that, if one really wants to see what the positive things are that could be developed, I think one has to think outside the constraints of our current human biological nature. It's unrealistic to imagine a trajectory stretching hundreds of thousands of years into the future. We have superintelligence, we have material abundance, and yet we're still these bipedal organisms with 3 pounds of gray, teethy matter. All of these basic parameters that sort of define the human game today, I think, become up for grabs in this future.
Philosopher Nick Bostrom lays the foundation for understanding the future of humanity and intelligent life. Now imagine a machine, structurally similar to a brain, but with immense hardness and flexibility, designed from the bottom, scratch, to function as an intelligent agent. Given sufficiently long time, a machine like this could acquire enormous knowledge and skills, surpassing human intellectual capacity in virtually every field. At that point, the machine would have become super intelligent. In other words, the machine's intellectual capabilities would exceed those of all of humanity put together by a very large margin. This would represent the most radical change in the history of life on Earth. While the ultimate goals of superintelligences can vary greatly, a functional superintelligence will spontaneously generate as natural sub-goals such as self-preservation and goal content integrity, cognitive enhancement, and resource acquisition.
The three overlapping revolutions that people talk about, GNR, genetics, biotech, nanotechnology, and robotics, which is AI. There's a difference with AI in that there really isn't solution to this. You can have technical controls on, say, nanotechnology. One of the guidelines is it shouldn't be self-replicating. If you have an AI that's more intelligent than you and it's out for your destruction, or it's out for the world's destruction, and there's no other AI that's superior to it, that's a bad situation.
According to Ray Kurzweil, this is a type of artificial intelligence system that acts like it has a mind, regardless of whether a philosopher would be able to determine if it actually has a mind or not. ASI is often associated with traits such as consciousness, sentience, sapience, and self-awareness observed in living beings. However, these are not necessarily characteristics of an ASI. An ASI may be non-conscious to various degrees, even if it has some degree of consciousness. It could have a non-human nature, such as a radically different mental content from the human mind. Kurzweil described an ASI as a machine that passes what he calls the Turing threshold, the point at which the machine's intelligence will be so far superior to people that any interaction between human and machine would raise the question of whether the machine is in control.
AI can be widely available.
It's like I can't get close enough to the fucking channel.
Correct. It's not as though it's going to explode and create a mushroom cloud. It's more like there were just a few people that had it. They would be able to be essentially dictators of Earth. Whoever acquired it, and if it was limited to a small number of people, and it was ultra smart, they would have dominion over Earth. So I think it's extremely important that it be widespread, that it will be tied to our consciousness, tied to our will, and everyone would have it, so it would be sort of still a relatively even playing field. In fact, it would be probably more egalitarian than today. It just really just comes down to two things, and it's solving the machine brain bandwidth constraint and democratization of AI. I think we have those two things, the future will be good. As long as AI power is like anyone can get it if they want it, we've got something faster than meat sticks to communicate with, I think the future will be good.
It is currently unknown what this kind of machine would become. Discussion of superintelligent AI focuses on several fundamental questions. How does one create minds that are better than humans? What are the possibilities to create a friendly ASI? There are several competing ways to get there, and many are not mutually exclusive. One of the first is to simply replicate the biological brain. It is not necessary
Neural
to understand
networks.
exactly how a brain works to replicate it digitally. However, a superintelligent AI will need to have the ability to learn. No brain can do that without a massive database of past experiences. In order to develop a superintelligence that would benefit humanity, the process has to be done in a series of steps, with each step being determined before we move to the next one. In fact, it might just be possible to program the AI to help us achieve the things we humans may not be able to do on our own. It's not simply being able to create them and learning how they've been commanded, but it is interacting with them and evolving ourselves at the same time. It is learning how to be human after the first ASI. Thanks for watching. Did you like this video? Then show your support by subscribing, ringing the bell, and enabling notifications to never miss videos like this.
And the speaker just fucking just disconnects whenever it feels like it. Yeah, I'm taking donations, man. Donations for a new Bluetooth speaker. Donations for a Bluetooth speaker? Anybody? Cause this one is a dickhead.
What does it stand for again? Well, it's a bit of it's sort of a Rorschach acronym for me.
Yo, did y'all see Kanye West on Joe Rogan? Yeah, why isn't it saved on my history? Oh, there it goes.
What these contracts are, not just for me, but for all artists. It's not about me getting my masters back. It's about freedom.
Why would you want to do that? Like, what do you want to do differently if you were the leader of the free world?
Well, there's a couple questions in there. You said, why is that your calling? There's people who will say to me, they'll say, well, music is bigger than politics or more influential than politics, or celebrities are more influential. And I thought of it like if I was a pastor of 100,000 person church, but then I was also a captain, a sailor, and then we went to war, and I said, I'm gonna man this ship that has 1,000 people, 1,000 soldiers on it, because God is calling me to. I'm the pastor for, however big my audience is in hip hop, in music, or as just an influencer or celebrity, or just as a dad and a husband in my house. The world is like, there couldn't be a better time to put a visionary in the captain's chair. And that's not to say we haven't had visionaries before. I'm not coming here to down any of the other. I'm not here to down Trump, down Biden. I'm just here to express why God has called me to take this position.
So when you say a visionary, you think of yourself in terms of like as an artist, as a creator, as someone who has these thoughts that they manifest in terms of music and art and creation and design, the things that you do. Mm-hmm. That's why you think you're different as a visionary.
Yeah, I think I'm different from. I mean, we're all different. So I'm definitely different from everybody. We're all different from each other. I mean, bump into people that seem to be like the same character inside of.
Yeah.
It's like.
I've
the
seen
people,
those before.
Yeah, people play the same role. It's like, man, I just met you before. You're
Yeah.
just like the head of this company over here. You're the same kind of person. Yeah, you know, I mean, I manifest. I see things. I'm a great leader because I listen, and I'm empathetic, and I feel the entire earth, and I feel us as a species, as the human race. Like sometimes people think that utopia as almost like a negative word. That's like we couldn't have that, but I do believe in world peace. Like the people hit me with one of the things Oprah said is she said, you got a bone up on your foreign affairs. I remember this, like, because it's Oprah talking, so I'm gonna remember a lot of what the conversation was. But that's the first thing she said was, you know, foreign affairs and foreign policies. Like, just I think the reason why I say leader and not politician and not even specifically president is this is the time. You know, when the Constitution was written, that was an innovation. Now, the world is innovated all around our political system, but we haven't innovated and simplified our political system. So I met with this gentleman, Sam, one of the founders of Y Combinator. So Y Combinator is a contract that my friend, the head of Dropbox, used, and that a lot of tech guys use, and it's a standardized deal. So one of the ideas I had when I was, as I'm in this process of innovating, I'm not in war with the music industry. It's just it's time for us to innovate, and we need to have contracts that make sense with exactly how we sell music. So, you know, people every decennia, and that's like every 20 years. That's like decade is 10, the decennia is 20, and as you see now, it's like the world is just stopped for a second, and there's an opportunity to look and say, what are the things we need, what are the things we don't need. So I don't know if you saw when I posted my contract, I had 10 contracts that kept on putting me inside a labyrinth, and there's things that we don't need. Now I believe that the distribution partner that the label is, like Prince would go and say, oh, we don't need the distribution partner, especially if Prince was, you know, really alive and thriving in this internet era. I'm the kind of person where I'm not trying to go and eliminate anyone's job. So record labels are afraid of saying, okay, we're going to hand over the distribution completely to you guys, which is, you know, that's a possibility. There's a way where both parties can be happy and that these infrastructural partners can be of service to the influencer, to the artist. Like these deals can be flipped in a way that they're just more fair. You know, a record, you know, let me just go into this specific place with the record labels for a second.
Yeah,
I know I'm talking about that for a while.
Because it's a confusing thing for people on the outside.
Yeah. So before, when I told my father I wanted to rap, he was very like leery of that idea. He said that this I heard this business is terrible, and you know he's right. Like people are all seeing things that are wrong inside of contracts, turning blind eyes to it, and everyone's responsible. Everyone's a part of it. You know, it's like when the Me Too movement happened. You know, it wasn't just the guys that were getting tagged, and you know, some of the guys should have got hit with it, some guys shouldn't. You know, that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm saying that, in a way, everyone's responsible. Everyone's a part of the problem. That's why I really love that Black Mirror episode when, you know, everyone was making comments, and anyone that even made a comment, the bees. It was about these. Mechanical bees. Anyone, and this is a spoiler alert if you haven't seen this episode, but anyone who made a comment, the bees came to go get them. And that's the thing about what you put in the universe, even a thought, you know, you put that thought into the universe. It's another thing to say something negative and put that into the universe. It's another thing to see someone being raped You know, that's the reason why I compare what's happening in the music industry to Me Too, because artists are raped. You've heard that term before. This is not like a new thing that I'm making up. The contracts are made to rape the artist. And you know, I put my, like, I think about, you know, this is like a thought that right now, it's just a negative thought that I'm putting into the universe. But I have to say, like, when I was going on Twitter, I was thinking about Bruce and Brandon Lee. That crossed my mind to say, this is Sony, this is Universal, and I'm willing to put the blue paint on my face and go out and do this because it's the right thing to do. Like, music, like, at this point, it loses me money. It doesn't make me money. It is my $5 billion net worth and $300 million of cash that I see a year. Music is like negative $4 million for me. So these contracts for me were kind of like Wangro and Heat, where this guy had everything, but he still said, Wangro messed up this heist that we're gonna do. Like, I look at the music industry, not music and the love of music itself, but the music industry, I look at it like Wangro, like, I blame, you know, the loss of my mother partially on the entertainment industry. The always fighting to, you know, represent, you know, who you are against media, entertainment industry that's trying to tear down anybody that's not going with the flow. I see, you know, I've got those kind of reasons personally, but vengeance is mine, said the Lord. So it's not a matter of going in for revenge. That's just me as a human being where I fall short. Like, I'm not a monk.
Can you explain what you're talking about with Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee? Like, what I lost you there.
Okay, so Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee were both murdered.
Well, Brandon Lee died in an accident on a movie set.
Yeah.
Do you think it was a murder?
I felt
that's a conspiracy, right? The conspiracy was that the Chinese triad killed him the same way they killed Bruce, but the coroner's report was that Bruce died from a reaction to a medication, right?
Yeah, I mean, but I think about that anytime I go to the hospital. I'm very, you know, I'm mindful of that stuff. You think about, like, Bob Marley, they didn't just JFK or MLK him. There's, like, reports that it was something in his toe, or
he had cancer, right? I believe he had skin cancer.
Yeah, like, I went to go, I got a shot in my hand because just from texting and stuff, my thumb was like hurt, and then I posted.
Did you text so much you hurt your thumb?
Absolutely, just texting way too much. So
what the hell?
I posted a picture of the screen at the hospital, and then I was asked to take it down.
By who?
People just called me. I'm forgetting exactly who asked me, but it was like they got to my management, they got to this, and they said, take that picture down. Like, the hospital, it was in the weirdest place, you know. So
what did they not like about the picture?
I think it might have had some information on it that they didn't want to go out, like an address or something like that. And it's just like, but I don't want to go down these rabbit holes. I'm just saying, like, Michael Jackson not waking up one day, Prince not waking up one day, Bruce and Brandon Lee, Bob Marley, all of these things have crossed my mind, you know, as I'm going and saying, I need to innovate what these contracts are. Not just for me, but for all artists. It's not about me getting my masters back. It's about freedom. And I say on a new song, I say, if I would put myself in harm's way to get my masters, they would put themselves in harm's way to stay the master. And there's a complete parallel to the way the music industry works and the way the world currently works, and the influence that America has on other countries and the way governments work. The influence and the way government and the way people in power and control deal with disaster relief, deal with Haiti, deal with the Bahamas. Like, where is the money going? Why aren't things being built? And this concept of money, right? I asked myself this. I asked someone a week ago, like, how much is America in debt? And they were like, this many trillion. And then I asked a rhetorical question, but the dumbest question I've ever asked myself. I said, well, how much does the Earth cost? Think
It's not
about
a bad question.
But
How much is the Earth worth?
Yeah,
Right
what is the Earth
Everything.
worth?
All the things on Earth.
Yeah, and it's saying we can't buy it. We couldn't make enough money to buy the Earth, right? So that means we made money. So if money is the key to all people's happiness and will solve everything, and everyone's doing things for money, let's just make more money. But it's not about making more money. It's about keeping poor people poor and rich people rich, and keeping people in their place. And right now, we're experiencing the fall of Rome, or the Titanic has now hit a glacier, and there's people who would prefer to go down with the Titanic than to get on a lifeboat because they don't want to get seawater on their dress or on their nice outfit. The people are so programmed and brainwashed into classism and protectionism that it's difficult for people to embrace innovation unless it has a tag on it that's got a name brand connected to it that says, with this innovation, you will be better than the person, you'll be better than your next door neighbor. When I made Sunday Service, I completely stopped rapping because I didn't know how to rap for God. All my raps always had like nasty jokes on it, and then when I went to the hospital. I know you want to get into this. When I went to the hospital in 2016, I wrote Start a Church in Calabasas, and as we left from 2018 going into 2019, I said, I'm not going to let one Sunday go by without starting this church. And there's people who said it wasn't a church and different things, but to start a ministry, I'm like the little drummer boy where I'm saying, this is all I got to bring, my drum. I might not be well versed in the word, but I know how to make music, and I know how to put this choir together, and all things can be made good for God. So it quickly became the best choir of all time because all the best singers moved to California. And now, but a lot of them grew up in the church, so it's like the opportunity for them to actually get paid singing for God, because I would be funding it. And that for me was like a tithe for me to fund Sunday Service. And I was 4 months in before I gave my life to God. Like, I wasn't saved, it's just I had a calling saying, just go make this church. And the whole thing, the comparison to this church to me going and saying, okay, why am I running for president, is to be in service, not service to my own ego. I feel like God says to me, like, haven't I given you enough? And I gave you an ego that helped you overcome all these, roadblocks and smoke screens and people telling you what you can't do. Now you need to realize when you're doing things for your ego and when you're doing things for me, this is like God, what I feel God is saying to me. Because it really irritates me when people say, God told me to tell you. So I'm very mindful with this kind of wording. I'm saying I have a feeling that that's what God is saying, for me to be in service. So the ultimate service position is leader of the free world, to be the president of the United States. It's sometimes you see me on Twitter, I say, I want all the smoke, I want all the problems, because the problems are the opportunities. There's an opportunity to solve things. And Kurzweil, he created the keyboard Kurzweil. He has this video that Mark Romanek, this director that shot 99 Problems for Jay-Z, which is like my favorite, maybe top 5 or top 2 favorite videos of all time. He also did Closer for Trent Reznor. I just grew up on MTV in the 90s, and I love Mark Romanek videos. But he would share he'd share little bits and pieces. And I remember Ray Kurzweil talking about the ability for us to have a utopia, but us being led by the least noble and the most greedy. But if someone, or when someone gets in a position of leadership that is in service to God and in service to people, period, but immediately the American people, I had this joke. I was saying, like, man, no one outside of our country should be able to see these debates. This is family business right here. This is only for America to see. We can't let anyone outside the country see it. But to be in service. So I stepped away already from my rap career for a year and served God every week, sometimes twice a week, 3 times a week, never missed a Sunday until COVID. And this is the thing, there were people inside of the church stealing, doing different things, trying to just take them out, and God still provided a way for us to keep that boat afloat. We never missed a service. And then one of my pastors, Pastor Adam, who is the way he preaches is called expository. It's like one-to-one by the word. I like all different kind of preachers, but there's some type of preachers, they get up, they have the Bible in their hand, then they close the Bible, and then they just talk for 2 hours. Some do have anointing, but the expository preachers go line for line. And for me, it's like, I come from entertainment. I got so much sauce. I need the word to be solid food, that I can understand exactly what God was saying to me through the King James Version, through this, through this translation or the English Standard Version. So Pastor Adams was coming by my masses that we had a little house in that I was recording, and I would play this music, these chords that I love. They were almost like monk-like, and that's going to go into something we'll talk about later, because I'm building a monastery. I'm building a monastery that will then be the future of monasteries. This like full sustainable energy. Now, he says to me, Pastor Adams says to me, when I was thinking about should I rap or not, he said, my son just said, I want to hear Ye rap, do an album about Jesus, a rap album about Jesus. And it was through the mouth of babes. Like, this person, I'm going to listen to the kids, bro. I'm going to listen to my daughter. I'm going to listen to kids before I listen to, super programmed out adults. And especially if that adult hasn't done something that I am looking to do. Right. So it's so funny how people are so like free and almost arrogant with their advice. And I'm just like, why would I listen to you? You don't even ask me for any advice. I'm the most successful person I know. So so he said my son wants to hear a rap album from Ye. And that was the paradigm shift for me. I use that word a lot. I like that. I like paradigm shift. It's one of those favorite words. And I made this rap album, and for a lot of people, it was the first album that they could play with a certain production level in the house with their family. Now, you could argue if the Watch the Throne production was stronger or better than Jesus is King production, but when I go and I've been working with Dr. Dre, and some of the beats would just be like, the hardest beats possible, and it's something that was very spiritual and meditative about the mix on Jesus is King, that it wasn't hitting as hard as Jesus or hitting as hard as Watch the Throne. It was like, this is how God wanted me to make this sonic painting, and the way he wanted me to communicate. Then so we did that album, and then we did the Jesus is Born album, which also I got that idea from Pastor Adams. And I mean, there's people who that's the only album they play, and it's just bringing these gospel. And I tell you, like, my formula for these hymns I'm writing, because I'm writing the songs that we're doing at Sunday service is basically my book of hymns for the future gospel university that I'm creating, where I've envisioned and will manifest a 200,000 seat stadium, circular, with 100,000 gospel singers. And people will go to this university and they will train the way, a Russian Olympic swimmer, I picture like they would be in the pool 6 days a week at least, if not 7 days. But for people who sing for the church, or, because it's a tithe, it's pro bono, all this, like, people don't practice that as much as we practice going to the studio to rap, or practice playing basketball if we're in the NBA. So it's making the NBA, so to say, the Coliseum for God. And what that, have you like heard like soccer chants?
Mm-hmm.
And and just like 60,000 person. So I envision that for God, 100,000 people, sometimes singing in harmony, sometimes in unison. Glory, glory, oh God Almighty, we lift our hands and give you praise. Glory, glory, oh God Almighty, we lift our hands and give you praise. Glory. But picture 100,000 people in unison, and that feeling, what that would do for our spirits, our souls. It's healing. There's natural forms of healing about our environment, the friends that we're around, what we're wearing, what we're eating, our diet. So Donda is a design company that I formed around 10 years ago. And some of the people that worked at Donda have went on to become heads of fashion houses. Like Virgil's the head of Louis Vuitton, and he was the head of Donda at a certain point. Another guy that worked at Donda is now the head of Givenchy. So this is like the talent pool. And this Donda is basically my version of like a cyber, extension of my brain. Like, here's something that I'm thinking of that you can't touch, but we need to bring it into fruition. We need to manifest it. And we have to see how to use things of our past and things of our now to create our future. So it's a organization created to guarantee the future of the human race. Really, I thought about even calling it Edna, because I see us all as superheroes, and Edna was the designer in The Incredibles, which is kind of really similar to Donda. I'm just seeing these lineups and stuff. So now our focus is food, clothing, shelter, communication, education, and transportation. So at the school that I just created, Easy Christian Academy, we call NASA, we call different places about this hydroponic, vertical growing garden. And I remember sitting, the idea of the garden is from A to Z, you have to be able to make your food right there, fully sustainable, right there on your land. And there's a bunch of people like, oh, I made this salad right here. It's like, that's not good enough. You still gotta go to the grocery store for 80%, 60% of your stuff. I remember this one, this one farmer we had. He wanted to build this class for the kids and all this. I'm gonna show the kids this. Like, people always make the kids version. I don't like the kids version thing. Like, kids need to understand what if the pandemic was, they lost all their parents and it was lost. Kids need to understand early how real life works. So physics is one of the anchors of the school that I'm creating. I remember, the city is all self-sustaining, so it works off of our 4 main resources: earth, wind, water, and fire. And 90% of it is running off of water with like aqueducts, like the city of Masada. And I was talking to this engineer and saying, I need the whole thing to run off of water. And he said, well, we're going to have to use solar power. And I said, I don't, and please, don't take this as any offense. I don't like solar panels. I feel that they're part of still what Edison's idea was. I don't feel like they're really in line with what Nikola Tesla really wanted to do with alternative current. We get into the whole Tesla and what Edison did to take Tesla down, and the fact the world would probably be free by now if Tesla wasn't basically destroyed by the media that Edison controlled and the propaganda that Edison controlled. So I'm talking to my engineer and saying this needs to run completely with water, and I don't want to use a solar anyway. And he says, no, I'm saying we're going to use a mirror, and it's going to connect to a steam engine, and that's going to push the water back up. And I was like, after like screaming at the guy, I was like, look, if I had known physics, I wouldn't have been screaming at my engineer. So if we think about what we're learning in school to learn physics, to learn farming, I was talking to a friend of mine that's a rapper and super God-following, spiritual, super smart, and I was showing her the some of the designs for the monasteries and some of the designs for the fully sustainable communities, all the same thing. And then it said bioengineering on it, and she said, "Oh, what do you?" It's like for her, bioengineering has a negative connotation. And my response was, "Isn't like farming and cooking like bioengineering at the simplest form? Like we going from like grabbing apples off of a tree to, oh, we put this." Boom, in the ground. Oh, and we could grow this, and we could grow this, we could grow this harvest right here. So it's, I want to just simplify and round up the principle behind the Donda way of thinking is we've got all this information and all this, these scientific exploration, these things that Tesla never completed, these things that Da Vinci never completed, and we can look at all of these things and see how do we create the most primitive versions of this to create a fully sustainable ecosystem, which is, what COVID actually helped us to, get closer to our families, get closer to our children, understand like, oh wow, that, that was mapped out for us to be 50 minutes away from our home and our kids' school to be 30 minutes away and to put us in traffic for that amount of time. And these cities have been designed to promote industry and just to make more money. They haven't been designed to promote happiness. So we're at this paradigm shift in our existence. It was when Muhammad hit the market, I think that's who it was, and brought money, because before it was slave and trade. And this is something, dishonorable men honor money. I got this bar from Dave Chappelle. I'm not trying to steal this bar. And we as human beings, this race on Earth, have been honoring money. And money isn't. It's not even real. It's not even backed by anything. I don't want to go too far into that. But when you unprogram yourself, you see that there's other forms of currency now. Like relationships are a more important currency than money itself, and that's what we really saw. It's like the end of the movie. Our existence would be pre-COVID, post-COVID. And so as the Titanic is crashing and sinking and Rome is falling, there's got to be this new civilization like the end of Tron, where everything starts to light up and it's been under this dark cloud. So, God is using me, and he has a calling, in my life to make the world better for all people. Like people say, there's bad people, there's good people. No, there's people that are possessed, that have demonic ways, but we were all children at one time. They say some people, no, they were born bad. You got to remember, say, oh, there's bad people. Even the devil's an angel, a fallen angel, a lost angel, like Los Angeles. If you think,
but that's a city of angels. Let me start from the beginning. So you essentially deconstruct things.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say, in many ways, when you're describing yourself as a visionary, this is what I'm saying. Is you're looking at all the systems that are in place, whether it's the record industry, the contracts that are wrong with the artists, the way civilization is set up.
I think visionary is too glossy and too saucy of a title.
Okay, well, whatever.
More of an engineer.
You're deconstructing all of these things, and you find flaws in the systems. So all these systems, whether it's the music industry system, whether it's the political system, whether it's the system of gathering food, whether even a religious system. Like I remember when you started doing your Sunday service, my friend was like, "What is he doing?" I go, "He's going to church cool again." Like, you don't think that's, look at all these people having a great time. You have thousands of people that are chanting and singing along. Like, he's not asking for anything. I go, look, if anybody should be doing something like that, it's him. I go, because he's making great music, everybody's having a good time. And what do you get out of it? The best thing that people ever get out of church is sense of community, a time where you get together and you all agree this is where you're going to concentrate on good. You're going to concentrate on goodness. You're going to concentrate on trying to find these shared values that are going to help the community. Now you're doing this in this mass form. You got the superstar musician who's doing this in this mass form with thousands and thousands of people in these gigantic areas. Like, that's nothing but positive. So you deconstructed the idea of how to do a religious service but make it cool. And now you're thinking about deconstructing all these different things. You're thinking about deconstructing how food is harvested. You're thinking about deconstructing how we make energy. You're literally trying to deconstruct and reimagine the idea of civilization.
Yeah, exactly.
So talk me through how this starts with you. Were you always religious your whole life?
Yes, I was, and then I hit high school. No, it's just
So, but you know, when you're a young man and you're a superstar musician and you live in a wild life, what was it that led you back to this? Just a feeling in your life that there was more to life, there was more to your position, there was more to this idea of a calling, that you felt like you could do more, and that it resonated with you more to produce these Sunday services and to start thinking of life in this way, like you can improve things.
Yeah, God knocked me off my horse. God, like, literally called me and said, okay, now I need you. I need you right now. Not that God needs me, we need God, but he called me to serve him. And I was tired of serving the music industry, tired of serving, last concert, last tour I did, we had a floating stage. And actually it was a hanging stage, but it looked like it was floating. And that's just another thing, that's illusion, where we need to dispel the illusion. I wouldn't even call it the floating stage today, but the whole thing about it is people used to say how I would lose money on tours because I would put so much into the creative. And I was like, wanted to prove, but prove to who? Prove to man, prove to greedy people, that I could make more than anybody. And that's like the gladiator position that all artists are put into. Like, we're in the middle of this coliseum. Let me show you I can kill more lions and tigers and bears and people and blah 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 than any other gladiator that happened. So that's what I was doing. And then I remember talking to James Terrell, and I was like at the top of my lungs, like screaming about saving ourselves and humanity, and the reason why me and James needed to connect. And then I went to my show, and then it's like my head popped back and the spirit jumped out, and it felt like it was like my mom talking. And the last thing I said was, "This thing is over," and I'm saying it like I sound like my mom, like Donda. Like, that's something she would have said if she was in the physical form when she sees her son, exhausted. Like, I had just went through I had this fashion show. We had this fashion show where we took over MSG and just broke all boundaries. Sold 16,000 seats and played the new album. And it was, 1,000 black people in the show. And you had like all Young Thug plugging in the iPhone, and Travis and Cuddy dancing. You had 50 Cent there, Jay-Z there, Lamar Odom. The first time that people saw him and walk again was we walked together into the stadium, and he's camo Yeezy jacket, all head to toe. And the reason why that was so important is, like, when he was in a coma, I would come by and play him the new music. And once he was out of the coma, he said that he remembered that music when he was in a coma, and that was the album I was playing that day. So that's the reason why me and Lamar walked in together. And then the next few months later, I did a fashion show, and it started 45 minutes late. And the media, they just killed me. they LeBron'd me, as I would say, like when LeBron went to Miami, and they said, you know, who are you to have a choice? You know, like with one of my other heroes, Tom Brady, he left. I didn't see no jerseys getting burned, like when LeBron left. So then, less than a week after that, my wife is robbed in Paris, and so we just, because I'm in the middle of a tour while I'm doing the fashion show, while I'm doing this, so we cancel the tour because it's very, you know, traumatic. And then, you know, we start the tour back up and we get back into it, and then I just keep on saying I want to go to Japan. I just want to go to Japan because Japan is like a way that people treat. There isn't like this systemic racism embedded in every single individual that's inside of the place, like in America. Black, white, anything. There's a systemic white supremacy. Like when I tag, you know, white supremacy, or we say this, it's like yes, that is America. That is the world. Currently, we've been taught that. My first superhero was Superman, you know, and my dad was a Black Panther, but, you know, when Disney makes Black Panther, now when you look it up, you don't see my dad protecting his neighborhood or snatching a mic out of somebody's hand while they're lying. I don't know, you know, like father, like son right there. But you see this character that's made for Black people to idolize, that was designed by a white person and put out by a white company. So it's controlling the narrative to say, we're going to show you Harriet Tubman, we're not going to show you Nat Turner. And they do it every chance they get. Maleficent, they called her race of people the Moors. And the Moors are, and I just saw it again, I was just like, yo, if you erase our history, like most Black people, we don't know where we think we came from slaves, we don't know our bloodline, and we're given Black History Month, and we take that like it's some gift to us. No, it's a programming to us. Racism doesn't end until we get to a point where we stop having to put the word Black in front of it, because it's like we're putting the rim a little bit lower for ourselves. Like, it's when I say I'm the second wealthiest Black man in America, like, why do I have to say that? Because, you know, obviously, if we just go on wealth, period, or what we call wealth, like financial wealth, that scorecard, you know, I'd be like, I'm the 78th wealthiest man in America. But we shouldn't have to have a special box, a special month, because also what they show in Black History Month is us getting hosed down, reminding us that we were slaves. Like, what if we had, remember when I cheated on you month? Like, remember when you first found the text messages? Remember, how does that make you feel? It makes you feel depleted and defeated. You know, it's no matter what religion you are, what we can agree on is it is always now. But now is the shortest moment of our life. It's gone in an instant. The longest moments of our life are our memories and our imaginations. Think about how long a kid imagines Christmas versus how long Christmas really is. And when you think back to your Christmas, are you under the table like Jim Carrey in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, like under a chair, or are you a giant? Are you a king? Or are you what Black History Month has told you you are? And this is me speaking to Black people, specifically in America, that, you know, I know people who would, you know, kill someone or have a gun, or, you know, in their own hood, and be afraid to go downtown, and literally be like afraid of white people. Like, the most gangsters wouldn't go downtown, and that's just a programming. But that program is inside of the curriculum. It's inside of the media. It goes to this whole idea of Ye. When people say, "Is Ye crazy? Is Ye narcissistic? Is Ye an egomaniac? Is Ye self-absorbed? Is Ye all these?" No, Ye know who Ye is. I know who I am, and I'm not fin to bow to an idea that you want to have of me. I am going to be the full idea that God has of me. And when I do things that God don't like, I'm being the lesser version of me. This is where, in my weakness, God becomes strong. I have to be the higher me when people are downing me. It's not like me fighting fire with fire, me attacking, or as you say, like, stooping to that level. It's like the devil will use you against you. You become your own worst enemy. And I just went on a riff right there, but the thing is,
isn't that what you do though? Like, one of the things that when anybody ever talks about you to me, they say, well, he's all over the place. And I say, I think that he's got a different power source. Like, if you look at the way everybody interfaces with the world, if there's a universal power, most people have like a 20-watt charger. The way I describe you, I say, I think that motherfucker's got like a 150-watt charger, and these ideas are just coming at him. So you do go on these rants that sometimes need to be dissected into individual things, but overall, you're incredibly productive. So my question is, why do people think there's something wrong with you?
Right.
Legitimately, like, you've been medicated, they've put you away, right? They've brought you to how did that happen?
Well, I'll say these two things. I think very three-dimensionally. I don't think in the black and white lines that I've been programmed to think in. And I think in full color. So when I talk, I have to describe a thought in 5 ways. We enjoy food that has multiple seasoning in it. We enjoy music that has multiple instruments. So when I talk, it's not a rant, it's a symphony of ideas. And when you collect them, you say, oh, these are all these things that connect. Yeah, I just tell the truth. And telling the truth is crazy in a world full of lies. That's simply it.
But none of the things you're saying are crazy. None of the things you said are crazy. It's fascinating the way you think, because I can see that you're thinking in all these different layers, and you're looking at things from all these different perspectives, and they all come together out of your mouth in like a tornado of ideas. Now, if someone wants to just have a conversation with you back and forth, I could see where they would go, this guy's crazy, he just doesn't stop, he's just ranting. But what I'm seeing is just, you're a very thorough thinker. You're thinking at things independently, but you're thinking of things in a massive perspective. Now, who convinced you that that's bad? Have you always been this way, or were you was it less manageable before? Did you have issues with it before?
Yeah, I believe before I found Christ and gave my life to God, I would try to lean on my own understanding. And that's the universe is like a black hole of information.
What do you mean by your own understanding?
Meaning, when people ask Einstein, said, you're the smartest person, what would you like to know? Einstein's response was, I'd like to understand the mind of God. Meaning God is all-knowing, and we can only know or see, and for me as a visionary, we can only know or see what God allows us to see, and what he feels we're ready to see and understand, to maximize what our Maslow's hierarchy of need chart is. What sets our dopamines, what sets our serotonins off, what makes us feel good. Basically, like, we did a good deed, and it's like, it was somehow, just doing a beat for a famous person, or just doing a beat for a local dope rapper really meant a lot to me when I was 14 years old. Doing a beat for just anyone famous that had a major record deal was a lot to me at age 19. Me being able to, put out my own music and put my own out was a lot to me at age 24. Meaning, as I grow, God sets new stages in the game of life for me that you get your satisfaction. Like, Maslow's hierarchy of need is like our satisfaction chart. What makes us feel whole and accomplished as a as a human being. So as I go through these different levels, there's times where I would use confidence when I knew what I was doing, and I would use arrogance when I didn't know what I was doing. But I'd rather use arrogance than to let someone diminish my idea of myself, because that is what keeps us going. Hope actually keeps us alive. Anybody you ask, most people, it's like, do you want tomorrow to come? And they say yes. They have hope for it. But I went from having confidence and arrogance to having faith, and faith is the opposite of fear, and that created this fearless approach that I have, and that's what has made me the fearless leader that I am, that I've like crystallized into the leader that my mom always knew I would be when kids followed me in preschool, the leader that people saw when we changed the sound of music, the leader when we changed the sneaker industry, the leader in what we're doing with farming and with shelters. When I was building, the homeless shelters a couple of years ago, and visiting parks and then going to Skid Row and understanding the dynamics and empathizing with what actual mental health issues are. Not someone, telling their truth or being exhausted and then being labeled as such. Like, I am.
So that's
yeah.
what you felt happened to you. Like, you were telling
Absolutely.
the truth and you were exhausted, and they labeled you as mentally unhealthy.
Yes, absolutely.
Am I saying this right? That
Yeah.
what happened with you is you feel like maybe, or you probably feel like, that having this higher calling and recognizing this higher power was the glue that kept your thoughts together. It kept your mind straight, and it kept you on a righteous path. So instead of being scattered with all these crazy thoughts and being exhausted and being labeled manic, right? Like, we talked before, and you were saying that they had you on medication, but the medication fucked with your creativity. It fucked with all kinds of things.
Or it blocked my ability to channel what God wanted me to do. But we're all on medication right now. Did you use toothpaste with fluoride today? It blocks your pineal gland. And they put children on it, and we put our kids on it. It's inside the deodorants that we use. It's all these things to create like a disconnect to God, to serve that. It's like, are you serving man, or are you serving the one and only master?
What did they tell you when they said that they were going to put you on medication? What did they put you on, and what did they tell you?
One of my favorite things that they did is they put me on this medication that made me gain a lot of weight. And I said, I'm not going to take this. And they said, okay, we got a medication you can take where you won't gain weight. And this shows you they were trying to kill a superhero, slowly trying to kill genius, trying to make me not feel like I could run for president, make me not feel like I can go be born in Atlanta, grow up on the south side of Chicago, go into music, go and win all these Grammys, change the sound of music and the look of stage performances, all that, and then still end up in $53 million of debt. What the music industry has people going to the exact debt of the house that they think they're going to buy after the tour is over. And it's strategized. There's criminals all over everyone's almost accounts in the music industry. It's not a safe place. It's a treacherous place. So
filled with money. Some of these things are filled with money. They're filled with people that are trying to take advantage of other people.
It's filled with money. Bees come to honey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they put you on this shit because you were exhausted. What did they put you on?
I can research. I'm actually forgetting.
But what did it do to you?
The main thing that it did is it destroyed my confidence. It made me this shell of who I really am. It like grayed over my eyes. It made the Mustang not buck anymore.
They sedated you.
Yes.
Yeah. And what was the thought process behind it when you talked to a doctor about this? What did they tell you was wrong with you?
they told me I was bipolar, and I remember going on TMZ and saying, you know, slavery is a choice, and they medicated me for saying that, for having that opinion and saying it out loud. But as I put those contracts up, I'm saying this is a choice. As I, you know,
You didn't mean people being abducted and brought into slavery and put into chains was a choice. What you were talking about is people making decisions that would enslave them financially and enslave their life.
Yeah.
And it was taken out of context, and it was taken in the least charitable way, and they decided to try to say, look at crazy Kanye, look at this shit he's saying.
Yeah.
And then they medicate you.
Yes. And the media is always taking anything out of context that isn't a part of the overall narrative.
Yeah.
That, because there's, you know, like Hollywood and media has controlled so much of the narrative, and then you had Silicon Valley. And that's what's so beautiful about one of my heroes, Steve Jobs, because there wouldn't be a Silicon Valley, or Silicon Valley wouldn't be what it is today if Steve Jobs didn't make information accessible like this, which is still a bit controlled, but it feels like Twitter is the safest, freest mass platform to communicate on. And you know, it's like they mess with Jack because of that. You know.
Well, it's still censored. There's a lot of issues now, but I think that's internal. I think that's people that are working there that are woke, that want to stop people from saying certain things. And there's a lot of struggles with that today. And it's unfortunate, because I do agree that it's an unbelievable way to get ideas out there.
Yeah.
So, but it's also, it's a new thing, and it's mismanaged by the people that use it often. They don't know what they're doing or why they're doing it.
Every version of anything that man has made will be flawed.
Sure, and it has to go through a bunch of different steps of evolution. It has to evolve and change. So, why did you agree to let them do this to you? Why did you agree to let them medicate you? Because if that, look, I'm crazy, for sure. But if someone came to me and go, hey, we're going to put you on some medication, that medication is going to calm you down, I'd be like, everything I do is because I'm not calm. Everything that I've ever done that's made me successful is because I have more energy. It's because I have a wildness. Like, I'm not calming that down. Like, I know how to calm myself down. I can self-medicate with exercise and meditation and marijuana and a bunch of different things. But I'm not gonna take some medication that removes anything that's unique. With you and all these wild ideas that come to your head, like, very few people could string together these thoughts the way you're describing them today. If somebody asked me, is there anything wrong with him? He's filled with awesome. Like, what's wrong with that? If you can keep that together, what you just did, the way you just described, reimagining civilization, reimagining church, reimagining the food supplies, there's nothing bad about that. This is all very interesting and very good. Like, I would never say that's bad. But are you this way all the time? Or is there good versions of Kanye and versions of Kanye where you don't feel like you have a grip on these thoughts?
You know, what I love is there was some perspectives that people showed about what a true manic episode really looks like after I was in South Carolina. And this one guy was talking about his mom being in an episode and kidnapping his brother, and, you know, like proper extreme cases. You know, I cried and was gut wrenched, like, at the, I don't even like to say out loud what I said on South Carolina, but the idea of, you know, I'm just trying to word it in a way that's really safe and covers my family. People saw this clip of me crying. Some people didn't know what I was crying about, but I was crying about that there was a possible chance. And I'm looking at a way to say this.
I know what you're going to say.
That there was a chance that, you know, that we didn't make that Kim and I didn't make the family we have today. That's my
Yes.
that's my most like family friendly, way to word that. And just the idea of it just tears me up inside that I was a part of a culture that promotes this kind of thing. Like one of the major statistics on the subject of life is that the greatest advocates for the A word are men from ages 31 to 37, and that's how old I was. And I felt like I was too busy. My dad felt like he was too busy for me, and we have a culture of that. And they have child rebel soldiers that were in Africa that would be doped up and psyched out and made to kill their parents. Well, in our culture, we're doped up and psyched out and made to kill our children. We have to decouple the conversation of Planned Parenthood and woman's choice. Now, so of course, I'm Christian, so I'm pro-life. And when I go into office, I'm not changing laws because I realize we live in an imperfect world, in an imperfect society. What I will be presenting is a Plan A, and we've already started to work on Plan A to change the connotation of orphanages, to change the connotation of foster care, and not just to change the connotation, verbally, but to create places that are to the level of like the Amon, Giri, and Disney World had a kid. What is this like? And we have so much land that this can be created and then spread across the world to orphanages in Africa and in China and just across the globe to create these environments that when there's expecting families, moms and fathers, that they feel like there's a place, even if they don't feel well off enough to bring another life into this world, that there's a place to go. There's a Plan A. Because Plan B and Planned Parenthood were planned by a eugenics that set out and said out loud, I'm doing this to kill the black race and to create population control. If we...
Wait a minute, what are you saying? Plan B, meaning the pill, meaning the morning after pill.
You know what?
Let me Planned Parenthood.
Let me decouple those things. Let me talk about Planned Parenthood.
Okay.
The last figure I saw is there were 210,000 deaths due to COVID in America. And everywhere you go, you see someone with a mask on. With the A word, A culture, I'll say it one time, with abortion culture, there are 1,000 black children aborted a day, daily. We are in genocide. So more black children have died in the past since February than people have died of COVID. And everyone wears a mask. So it's a matter of where are we turning a blind eye to? Like, the media can control, a lot of times it has control what we care about. I even heard somebody say at one point, this is the actual sentence I heard someone say, Puerto Rico's so played out. Meaning there was a time where people were caring about it, and now the media says don't care about it, but these people, it still hasn't been solved. The hurricanes still hit, the earthquakes still hit, and people are still suffering from that, and no one has really gone to fix it. And when that 11 billion goes to Haiti and it doesn't get to the people, the Daily Mail posts a swimsuit pic or something and deters our energy to what we have to do collectively to help our brothers and sisters. I look at society as one body. I want to just go into this riff because my thoughts are like these clouds and Mario Brothers, and I'll jump to this and I'll see another one, I'll jump to another one, and say, oh yes, I'll jump to another one. I need to express this this story. I believe that, you know, love will heal all, and we have to look at, I believe that world peace is possible, and I believe it's us looking at each other as a moment in time. Time is love. You love the things you put time into. That's what I meant. Time is love. Like, because this is like this intangible thing, this thing you can't grab. You can't just grab time in your hand. You can't grab love in your hand. But we feel both of these things are real. For us to love one another, just as simple as that, like love will heal the world. This is what it's going to take to heal the world. But we have a competitive spirit. We like having a bad guy. We like having a competitor. So what we need to do is change the bad guy, change the competitor, make the competitor be the Roman era, the Roman civilization. Make the competitor be the Egyptian kingdom, and say we're the first society, we're the first civilization that ever became civil. Because we are still just as much in the Dark Ages as medieval times, or as Game of Thrones, you know, level, Black Mirror level. I went past, future, other dimension for a second. But we kill each other. We kill each other on social media. We kill each other in high schools, like in the way that we talk to each other. We physically kill each other in our own neighborhoods and outside of neighborhoods. You know, this planet, when we keep turning a blind eye to our brothers and our sisters and our family, which is us as a whole, as all of humanity, then of course it's going to get to the point where there's, you know, homeless sleeping under, you know, a bridge in Calabasas, because we ignored the homeless person sleeping in front of the Gucci store. How is this? Just look at that visual. It's a homeless person sleeping in front of the Gucci store. We have builders. We have people who know how to make communities. We have people who know how to cook and how to make food and how to bring this food. People are fighting over land and not really realizing that we're not maximizing our resources and our existence. We've got genius level scientists. We've got people who rogue, you know, people who have broken out of the chains, like Elon. Like, imagine if Elon was working at GM on the 3rd floor somewhere. You know, we wouldn't have electric cars. We wouldn't have that new Porsche hybrid. We wouldn't have what's happening with, you know, Hyperloop. Imagine if the guy that you know, started Airbnb was shut down, or the guys who started Uber were shut down. All of these people who break away and then create the new society and the next frontier of where we're going. People, like I've said, like, it feels to me like MIT is a place that has to be funded by people who want to take the smartest people on the planet and make them work on the smallest things that won't change anything. And I've talked to people from MIT, and I could look at this brilliant person I was talking from MIT, and he was afraid. Everything was fear. Everything was about his girlfriend's pregnant, and, you know, we just got a house, and I don't want to do anything to change this. And this is like one of the most brilliant people on the planet. But if you mix brilliance with bravery, that we can ignite something. Even this conversation alone can ignite the people that are going to change the world, because there's people who have been anointed. You can't teach the brilliance and the anointings. There's people who hit the game of life, and they've got something that they're going to do no matter what school they go to. They just know how to do it. They knew how to do it before they got here, and they were going to do it. And these people just need to see what it looks like to overcome the smoke screens of public humiliation, of bankruptcy. I was in debt. The fear of loss, I lost my mom, or the fear of death. You know, what other fears are there? There's a lot of fears. But the thing is, when you remove, like even in the schools, you remove prayer, you remove God, you remove the fear of God, you create the possibility of the fear of everything else. But watch this. If you instill the fear of God, you eliminate the fear of anything else. And it's not that I am fearless. I am definitely shaking and in so much fear of my Father. I fear God, and I don't fear nothing else.
There's some power to that, right? Like it just as a mental management tool, there's some real power to that. Because so many people are afraid of every single little aspect of life. Bills and debt and love and relationships. And if you have a higher power, and this is one of the things that I've always said.
What's the main word that you use even for fear? This is the main disease that people use in politics. It's the main fear, is it? But it's the main word. It's the disease attacking the world. Because it destroys it changes your posture. It changes your idea. It's worry. Worry. Anxiety. That's what it is. Stress. Like it can kill you.
You can't be free. You can't be free to take chances.
To be worried about stuff. Like So to be able to anchor and eliminate worry and say this, I am walking in a righteous path and I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to worry about going to jail. I don't have to worry about being killed. I don't have to worry about bankruptcy. I don't have to worry about, humiliation. You know, because this is where smart aleck prayers can get you. I used to have this really smart aleck prayer. I said, God, deliver me from pain. And then he took my mom. So it's hard to hurt that much ever again. And created almost like a character, like Deadpool. I'm like Deadpool for God. Like there's no noise, there's no human noise that can, and you know, someone tried to there was a friend of mine that did like a really bad move where he tried to say, I was using this lawyer and I was about to work with him, and he said, the lawyer said he wouldn't work with you until you get my contract done. And I was just like, do you not know me at all? I'd be the type to cut off my own. If my hands are like this, I'll cut off my own hand. I come back in the room, they'd be like, yo, tied you up. I'd be like, and then I'd go just make like a Luke Skywalker, hand. And this is one thing I want to say, like, and this is about to make me mad right here. The first time you see me get mad in an interview. They said that George Lucas's prequels are worse than the corporate-made Disney Star Wars.
I'll get mad at that too.
Like
that's fucking ridiculous.
Revenge of the Sith. We saw how Darth Vader was made.
Yeah.
Like I watched that like 10 times during COVID. Like, don't jump, Anakin. No. I got the high ground.
Those early movies were pure. Yeah. They were pure.
No. I'm saying even the prequels are better than anything that, and I'm sorry, Disney Star Wars design team, I know you're gonna like put my face up in the office and be like, no man, this is George, this is his baby. That thing was set in his heart to show us as children the hero's journey. And these like, how can we run it back and replay? Like even at Disney, there's people at Pixar that have left. People have left, where they call, I forgot the exact title, but saying like every time there's a new idea, they call it like an unproven idea. So they'll get to Toy Story 800,000 or Frozen Trillion before there's a new concept.
Right. Take a chance on it.
Yeah, to take a chance. Yeah. And we've been programmed, like when you see the homes, the style of homes that I've been developing, they're far closer to the way the galaxy looks, the way water looks, the way our makeup in our body feels. We've been put into these boxes, and that was due to money, due to construction, that we have to be in these these boxes, and we've been stuck in a loop, like on Westworld. And sometimes I feel like Tandy Newton on Westworld, where she had to use the people that enslaved her, that trapped her, to make it out. You know, and it's funny, when I like the box, and when I'm talking about farming, I had a point about farming that I didn't finish earlier. I hired this guy to do the A to Z concept. I made it plain as day. Make it so everything we cook in the kitchen at the school, we planted here. And they would just do it to 70%. They do it to 60%. Earlier when I had that point, I went to this whole riff about children needing to learn physics and children needing to learn how to really do things and not having to separate things. Like, we are programmed to lock ourselves in a box. And what's amazing right now is the opportunity and the platform that we have, that the world is hurting for everyone, for those that are in power, for those that are inside the program. Even those that are in power are still a part of the program. And you know, I read this this tweet that someone said, I finished watching Netflix, what's next? And that's so true, that we can't even program enough to satisfy ourselves. The program is done. Forrest Gump has stopped running and just turned around. It's like all of these things that set up the concerts that musicians go to, where we don't, you know, we're not thinking about the fact that we're not getting the lion's share of our masters because we're making the money on tour, and then tour has girls, and tour has the arena singing your song. I need you right now. Did you do good, champ? You know, like Floyd Mayweather is such a hero of mine and so excellent because he is a champion, right? But then also he wasn't afraid to say, I do my deals, I make my money. And what I like is, you know, he didn't let the older system tell him how to spend his money or how to show his money. It was up to him, because he's his own king. You know, God is the king of the world, but he's his own king. And a lot of times in America, we haven't seen kings. We haven't seen the royal blood in our bone marrow and the way it comes through. And we could show it in rap, and the way we put our chains on, the way we dress. We could show it in the way we play ball and things like that. But it's another frontier to being a king.
Well, there's also something where you feel diminished in the fact that you know that your money is being stolen by people that don't deserve it. So if you have some record executives, if you have some people that you know have looped you into a fucked up deal, and they're making millions while you're making thousands, that fucks with you.
Okay.
It just does.
Makes you worry. Makes you stressed. Makes you anxiety.
I still don't understand how they talked you into medication. I wish I knew you better back then, because I would have just had you exercise. I would say, so whatever he's doing, you can't do. Like, you have to understand that it's different people.
Alright, I'm gonna go get some breakfast and probably clean up a little bit. Oh, that was loud. Ooh, I might actually had somebody asking about some artwork just now. Always looking for another commission. I'm hungry. Let me go grab something to eat. I'll probably play some video games for a minute too. I've been playing, they gave us Need for Speed Payback for free on PlayStation Plus. And it's not a terrible racing game actually. I used to love the older Need for Speeds, but then it got kind of corny after a while, but I don't know. For a free racing game, this one isn't too bad. Alright, so I need to turn that speaker off. Alright. Appreciate y'all chilling in the show. Catch y'all next time. Peace.